Hello everybody and welcome to the AppleBruit podcast number 10. The best, the only podcast out there when it comes to these Apple rumors. And actually, that's a little bit wrong because I checked out iTunes and I am not the only rumor podcast out there. There's a podcast from Sept that does rumors as well. But I am still the only podcast that does Apple-related rumors. So there you have it. You know, there's still something I can cling on to. All right. I thought I had a bunch of stuff to say about the show, show notes stuff, but I guess that's going to come to me some point in time in the recording of this show. The very first 7 or 8 articles that I have right now all comes from KGI analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, and he published his report, and Mac Rumors picked up his report and kind of reported on it. And so the first 7 is just going to be about his report. Now, this guy has a pretty darn good track record. Now, I didn't expect him, this was back in WWDC, I didn't expect that his prediction would come true, that there would be a 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro alongside a normal MacBook Pro. I did not see that coming. I thought if Apple were to release a Retina MacBook Pro, that the original MacBook Pros that I have right now, they're going to be kind of, thrown out the garbage, kind of gone. But yeah, so I'm a little bit impressed by this guy's track record. So we'll see if he does any better this September, because this guy is just, man, he's got a whole lot of cojones saying all these things about what's going to happen in Apple. Now, if he gets this right, he is probably going to be like one of the most well-sourced analysts out there. All right, with all that said, let's get started with KGI analysts Ming-Chi Kuo's report, reported by Mac Rumors. Let's start things off with the iPod Touch, where iPod Touch and iPod Nano, where he says that these two will come out in September, and that the iPod Nano will have a brand new form factor in both of them. Actually, they will both have a brand new form factor, but that the iPod Touch will be in short supply because it's using in-cell technology, which is fairly new technology right now, and that is still rumored to be the same technology, same screen technology that's going to go into the iPhone 5. So it's going to use in-cell technology, and yeah, there's going to be a lot of shortages apparently. All right, next up, again on the iPod Touch, is going to get a 4-inch screen just like the iPhone 5, and it's going to have the same screen as the iPhone 5, again, shortages. And this is the weird one that I haven't heard from anyone else. He says that the back of the iPod Touch will be polished aluminum, not this what is it called, anodized? No, brushed aluminum, not the brushed aluminum that's on the MacBook Pros right now, or the polished steel. I think it's called polished steel. Polished stainless steel on the current iPod Touch. This is going to have some sort of a polished aluminum backing. It's also going to have a hole at the bottom. Now, he doesn't know what this hole is gonna be good for. He doesn't know what the purpose of it, but he thinks that there's going to be a hole at the bottom of the back of the iPod Touch. Next, the iPhone 5 is supposed to launch at the start of September, which is a little bit weird because all the other sources are saying, okay, it's either going to be September 21st or October at some point in time then. And he says it's going to launch in September, which is ballsy yet again, especially at the beginning of September, and that there will be shortages, just like the iPod Touch, because of this in-cell technology. So there's going to be a lot of shortages for the iPhone 5, and so, you know what? If it does come out, if the iPhone 5 does come out, I suggest that you sit on your table and, you press Command R on Safari and just refresh until you can buy the iPhone 5 online. Because if there was going to be a shortage, whew, all right, good luck. Good luck getting a hold of this iPhone 5 if there was going to be a shortage. And actually, you know what? Let's go on a tangent about how I got my iPhone 4. I lined up in the Apple store downtown, and I walked into the huge, store downtown, and I was like, whoa, look at this. Look at these fools lining up, for something like, Aritzia or something like that opening. But I opened the doors and I'm like, oh crap, these fools are lined up for the Apple store. And the line just stretches all the way down the hallway of the mall and turns a corner and out the door. Like, I was waiting outside the door of the mall to get into the Apple store to get my my iPhone 4. So I was definitely way too late. So I was like, you know what, this isn't gonna happen. So I go home, I come back again the next day, and I was 5 away from the very, very last iPhone 4, 5 spots away. So it was me and like 2 others. We were lined up and we kind of met each other and stuff. And we were like, you know what, let's go hunting for these iPhone 4s. We went downtown, we looked everywhere downtown, we visited all these cell phone carriers. Of course, they only carry like 3 or 4. I mean, what are the chances that we're gonna get it? So we go around, I'm like, okay, we couldn't find it. So we just disbanded, right? We changed phone numbers and all that stuff. So I go back to my town up here, and I decided to stop by a huge shopping mall on my way here and check out the original store that I went to. And you know what? This store that I went to, it's one of those like cellular stores. That was the original place that I lined up for in day 1 of the iPhone 4 launch. Original place I lined up for. They said we're gonna open at 9. Or I think it was 8. They said we're gonna open at 8 o'clock. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be there at 7. Right? I mean, an hour's worth of wait, and I don't know, probably no one wants the iPhone 4, right? So I get there, and I get there at 8, and they opened at 7. These SOBs opened at 7, and they told me they were going to open at 8. And I kept calling them, and this is where I got my iPhone 3G as well. So I was like, okay, I've done this stuff here before. So yeah, they opened at 7. Oh man, so I make my way downtown, and now we're back to this story. So a couple days later, I'm going home, visited this big store where this store was located, and I go in and I go, would you guys happen to have an iPhone 4? Now, like, there's probably no chance, but it's still worth a try. And they were like, you know what? Somebody just delivered an iPhone 4 1 minute ago. Like a FedEx guy or a UPS guy just came in and delivered 4 iPhone 4s. And I was there. I was like I just walked in, just so lucky to just walk in, and I go, oh, well, I guess I'll get one right now. And so they started calling all the guys that were lined up, because there were a bunch of other people lined up, right? And their rule was they cannot save you a spot. There's no way that they can save you a spot, but they will call you when it does arrive. And when you answer, like, run your butt down to the store and walk in, and you can buy the iPhone 4. But if people beat you, it's fair game. So I apparently beat everyone online, even though no one was lined up right there. They were just like shopping around in the mall. So this couple walks in, and I guess they were like first to be called, but last to walk in. So all the other iPhones were sold, and I was still there, just bought my iPhone 4. I was holding onto the box, and they were just angry. This guy was so mad. He was ready to like knock things over and just just punch somebody. And there I am, like, holding onto my iPhone. I was like, oh man, this guy's totally like serious about this stuff. Okay, that was one heck of a tangent. But this is show number 10. This is tangent, huge tangent for show number 10, because I made it, damn it. Though, you know what? Instead of going for another tangent, I'm going to go to another tangent at some point in time later in the podcast. All right, still, let's go back to KGI's Ming-Chi Kuo and Mac rumors. The iPhone 5 and the iPad will sell 55 million and 24 million respectively. And that is actually quite a lot, because I think that the iPhone 4S currently sold at 40 mil this year, something like that, like 45, 47, something like that. So 55 is quite a lot. And 24 is huge for the iPad, because it sold 17 right now this year. And 24 is actually quite a lot. All right. You know what? No. Stop with the tangent. Stop with the tangent. Still again, Mr. Ming-Chi Kuo. He says that the iPad mini will launch in September, and sorry, I just burped there. Why do I just burp? Why am I so disgusting? Like, seriously, what is this? That the iPad mini will launch on September, and it's gonna sell 1.8 million. I was gonna say copies, but 1.8 million iPads will be sold at first, just because they're probably gonna be low in supply and stuff. But at the end of the year, at the end of the fiscal year, the iPad mini will overtake the original iPad, or the big iPad, the iPad non-mini. And And yeah, so he is saying that iPad mini is going to launch in September, and actually he's saying that pretty much everything launches in September, from beginning all the way to the end. And speaking of something launching at September, I don't know if this transition is going to work. The iPad will also launch, and this is the big iPad, and it's not going to be like this huge, form factor, like huge change into the iPad. No. Apparently, he's saying that they're going to fix some thermal issues, because in the new iPads right now, there are a bunch of thermal issues. So he's saying these guys, Apple's going to fix it, but there will not be any cosmetic change. Now, I talked about a rumor. I forgot which website it was. I talked about a rumor a long time ago, talking about how the iPad will have this exo screen, and it's gonna have like a thinner screen, and it's gonna have maybe a little bit of a thinner form factor, all that stuff. Well, he says that's not gonna happen. It's probably just gonna be internals and no physical change to the outside, to the visual change of the iPad. And next, I think this is second to last thing, the iMac 21.5 and 27-inch will release in September. But he didn't comment on whether or not it's going to have Retina display, but I don't think it will have Retina display. He also said that this delay, because it was delayed apparently, this delay was because of some troubles with the screen. Now, you got to think, why are they having troubles with the screen if it's not going to be a Retina display? Hey, just putting it out there. But he's unsure of whether or not it's going to be a Retina display. And last thing from Ming-Chi Kuo, actually this is one of my more favorite rumors out there. The 13-inch MacBook Pro Retina edition will release in the start of September. And he does say yet again that supplies will be low. So keep that in mind. When it comes to buying all these gadgets, and I actually wrote here on my notes, buy the gadgets and sell it on Craigslist. You can be one of those, seedy people that I was going to say a bad word, but I didn't want to. That buy all these gadgets and sell them onto Craigslist to people that are super rich and they don't want to wait in line, and they were like, I'm not going to wait a month, for my iPad to come out. So I would suggest buying like an iPad mini and an iPhone and a 13-inch Retina MacBook Pro and trying to sell it on Craigslist. I'm just saying, that's probably what I'm going to do. Actually, but I'm not going to return it. I'm going to try to sell it on Craigslist. If it doesn't sell, I guess I'm going to keep it. You know what? I'm going to do that if I was rich enough in September, like if I've saved up enough money until then, or if my school fees, I haven't actually looked at my school fees yet, but I think they're going to be huge compared to my current university right now, because I'm doing a university transfer. All right. Okay, that was it. That was it from Mr. Ming-Chi Kuo, and I think it's applicable to play this sound. Thank God the sound played. I was like, oh no, the sound isn't playing. What do I do? All right, so everything, I'm done with Mr. Ming-Chi Kuo now. Let's get back to the actual, flow of things. App4phone.fr, and FR France, yeah. I tried reading the article. I was like, this is all in French, damn it. Google Translate. Says that the iPhone 5 could release in September 21st. And who are their sources? They say that this is going to release because of accessory manufacturers. Their deadline for their accessories is due on September 21st. And this is via Cult of Mac, because they are the ones that translated this stuff. And I wrote down not likely. So it's probably not likely going to happen on September 21st, and that these App4phone guys have a bad record, or at least they don't have a good record when it comes to doing these rumors. But I also wrote down that if they were going to release it on September 21st, that doesn't mean that the iPhone will release on September 21st, because they can say, hey, you know what, have it here by the 21st so that we can, stock it in the store, so that, when the iPhone 5 comes out, we'll have all these stuff for it, all these accessories for it. And someone's at my door unlocking it. Okay. Next one is from phonearena.com, and they say that the iPhone 5 could launch on September 21st. This is another one of those guys. They say that the iPhone 5 could launch on September 21st, and this would still be in time for the fall transition. That's in quotation marks, because Tim Cook said, we're going to have a lot of things when it comes to fall transition, and this fall transition will actually make our revenues go down. More on that later. I'm going to talk about that later. So yeah, but a lot of other rumors, now this is what I'm saying, a lot of other rumors say that the iPhone 5 will probably come out in October. But people like Ming-Chi Kuo and App for Phone and Phone Arena are all saying it's going to release on September 21st. September 21st is when it's coming out. So I guess there's quite a bit of smoke when it comes to September 21st. But I would know for sure, or at least I would know that there's some sort of a fire if Bloomberg and New York Times and Reuters, if all those guys pick it up, then I'm going to go like, okay, it's most likely going to release on September 21st. But for now, not yet. I'm a little unsure with that. 451research.com says that the iPhone 5 has a higher demand, or will have a higher demand than the iPhone 4S. And to be specific, it's 14% of the people that they talk to are very likely versus 10% that were very likely to buy the new iPhone. So, back a year ago, they asked the iPhone 4 users if they're going to update to the iPhone 4S, and they were like, 10% of them are very likely to do it. But now, the iPhone 4S, or you know what, I don't know. I didn't actually read the actual, the research, but I did read the quick summary of it. Actually, that's terrible. I'm looking at the research right now, and it's like 4 paragraphs. I should have read this. But anyway. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay. They actually say, what I said was there's probably going to be higher demand for the iPhone 5 because it's a brand new form factor. Like I'm planning on getting it because it's a new form factor. I want the new thing. Okay, next, Reuters says that the iPhone 5 will have a 19-pin connector. They're a little bit late to the party, like, I don't know, a month late to the party. But they do say that it's going to have a 19-pin connector, and this is to make room for the headphone jack that's going to go at the bottom of the iPhone 5. And since Reuters is picking this up, I guess you can say there's these big hitters just totally picking up this news. So it's most likely that the iPhone 5 will have this 19-pin connector and the headphone jack at the very bottom. Next story. Mac Rumor says that fall transition, or actually Tim Cook said that the fall transition of all their stuff will produce less profits. And that's because a lot of people right now are probably holding back on buying these iPhones. So yeah. And actually, you know what? This isn't about that. The fall transition will produce less profits, and Mac Rumors kind of like asked, are they going to produce less profits because of the cheaper products? Because if they are going to sell an iPad mini, it's going to be cheaper to buy, and they're probably, going to profit less from each unit of an iPad mini. But I'd like to say that they're probably going to have, they're probably going to produce less profits because of the lower supplies. If this Mr. KGI analyst, Ming-Chi Kuo guy, is actually right, and there will be low supplies, that's probably why they're not going to make as much money. But, they're still going to make a lot of money. It's just the, relative terms. Anyway, next, the Apple TV sales are up 170%. Like right now, the Apple TV sales right now are up 170% from last year. They sold 4 million units. And Tim Cook, or I don't know, if Oppenheimer, I think he was the one that said this. They would not keep the Apple TV around if it was not important. Like if there were not people in Apple passionate about the Apple TV, they would not keep it around. But there are people passionate, so that's good. Personally, I don't really care much about the high definition Apple TV television because I don't really watch television right now. I mean, if I were going to watch Game of Thrones or something, I would probably do it on my laptop. And I wouldn't download it. Of course not. That's totally wrong. I would wait till the DVDs are out. I don't even know if the DVDs are out right now, but I will wait until the DVDs are out, and then I'm gonna, put it on my MacBook. Next, 9to5Mac says that Apple will be the top purchaser of semiconductors in 2013. And this is huge. They're gonna buy $28 billion worth of Actually, they spent $28 billion worth of semiconductors this year. That's a lot. 28 billion. That's a lot of zeros after that 28. And when you're the kind of company that pretty much controls the semiconductor, you can control the prices, because you can say, you know what, guys, I'm going to buy it from you if you can make it cheaper than this. And you can also control the supplies, because right now all the other competitors are having a tough time catching up to Apple, not because, Apple is so high tech, but because Apple is grabbing onto all the supplies and it's making all the other semiconductors more expensive. So these guys are having a tougher time competing with Apple when it comes to price. Next, 9to5Mac says that the iWork gets, actually this is fact, this isn't rumor or anything, iWork gets iCloud and Retina update. Now, I talked about this, I forgot what show it was, a long time ago, that I think it was iMore that said iWork should be updated for 2012 because of these reasons. And that's because they're missing iCloud. So Apple's going to have to say, hey, we're going to have to update all these iWork software to be compatible with iCloud. Might as well update it to iWork 2012. It doesn't look like that happened now, because they did update the iWork. I think that was iWork 09. Like, that is old. iWork 09 to be compatible with iCloud and Retina graphics as well. Next is from fiercewireless.com, and they say that tablets with cell technology will be reduced. So people that buy tablets with 3G connectivity or something similar will be reduced from 48% this year to 37%. And this is because of expensive plans and low data caps. Now, I'm looking at this story and I'm going, wow, 48% of tablets out there have 3G connections. That is a lot, actually. That is a lot of tablets. Maybe if there are some Android tablets out there that have 3G connection, and now my phone is ringing. Oh, no one's gonna pick that up. Oh, and the source for this story was CCS Insight. Hold on, let me transfer this. I can't believe I'm going to keep letting this phone ring. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to have to keep letting this thing ring. Next up, Mac Rumors says that rumors hurt Apple's profits a lot. And this was from... man, I should totally cut this out, but... I'm gonna talk over my machine. Whatever. Screw it. We're doing it live. I'm not about to stop this and start over again. So apparently Tim Cook or Oppenheimer, one of them, said that the Apple's profits are diminishing, and that's because people like me who say, hey, everybody, there's this new iPhone coming out and this new iPad mini coming out and 13-inch Retina MacBook Pros. And whenever people hear this, they go, okay, I'd be pretty stupid to buy an iPhone 4S right now, right? So that's why they're saying, yeah, we're not making a lot of profits. We're not making as much as we could if people did just, buy it whenever they felt like they needed it. But here's another thing. Apple always boasts that they go like, oh my God, we sold 28 million phones today, or something like that, something huge. And you gotta think, they sold this big number because people stopped buying, right? So if you're gonna complain that people stopped buying, you should probably not totally tout how popular your iPhone is because everybody bought it. Well, yeah, because nobody bought it beforehand, right? Nobody bought the current gen iPhones. Next is a story from DigiTimes. Again, throw a pinch of salt on this one. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on there, horsey. Let's do this. All right, let's transition onto the headlines section of the show. iPhone 5 already produced by Pegatron, and they've also started making new versions of the iPad. And I don't remember Pegatron ever being into the picture when it comes to making these iPhone 5s, and it looks like there's a paywall up right now for this article. I swear to God, I read this article. Like, I read the whole thing, and I was like, is this seriously an iPhone 5 article? Because you look at the first, 80% of the actual article, and it talks about like Samsung and Pegatron and all these other non-Apple related stuff. And then at the end they were like, oh yeah, and Pegatron's making this iPhone. And it seems like they kind of just added the iPhone there so that people will hey Mike, so that people will just, you know, pay attention to their news. And right now they're on a paywall. I don't know what's the deal with them. Like, do they put it on a paywall a day later or what? How does that work? All right. Next, another headline: from Reuters.com. iPhone 5's 19-pin connector could get an adapter for the 30-pin. And the source for this was IDC's analyst Francisco Geronimo. Seriously, his name is Geronimo? I never said that. Geronimo. Okay, that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool name. All right, Geronimo. Francisco Geronimo says that, hey, you know what? It makes sense for Apple to, you know, it's a little bit unfair of me to say this was the source and he's totally saying it. No, he just said like, oh yeah, it makes sense for them to make an adapter. It's not like he knew a bunch of stuff that no one else did. And Reuters actually said it's probably going to be on sale in October. So here again is, you know, this September versus October thing. And you know what? I get a feeling some of these rumor sites, they're getting confused by the announcement date and the release date. Like, let's just say that the iPhone 5 is going to be released on sometime in October, but announced in September 21st. I'm just saying, that's a little bit crazy. I know. Hey, what's up?
You know what sound you can't hide?
What sound can I hide? Toilets flushing. You didn't have to flush that now. Like, you heard the phone ring, right? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, but I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna keep going because I'm 30 minutes into this, and if I stop, nothing's gonna happen. All right. AppleInsider.com says that. Why would he flush the toilet? AppleInsider.com says that analysts predicts that 25 million iPhones will be sold this quarter. You know, this news is already out there. People already know this. And that 4 million Macs will be sold and 15 million iPads will be sold. I think it was actually 17 million iPads sold. And I have here as a comment, might stop reporting these because they're boring as hell. Like, seriously, I reported on it because I don't know, it kind of gives perspective into how big the iPhone's gonna be, right? But when it comes to these analysts saying Apple will report this a day from now, or less than 24 hours from now, I kind of go, is that really relevant? Right? Because I can put KGI analyst Ming-Chi Kuo's feet into the. I don't know why I keep saying KGI analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. I could just call him Kuo, right? I can put his feet onto the fire because I can say, hey, you predicted at this time that they're going to sell this much. They actually didn't sell this much. But when it comes to these analysts, it's like a day later. Who cares? So I might stop reporting on these analysts saying that blah 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 will sold this much. Will sell this much units. Next, Microsoft-careers.com. Now, you're wondering, what the heck is a Microsoft website doing here? They have an application from Microsoft Office's Outlook division that is looking for somebody to kind of run their iPhone, app assets. And a lot of people are saying, hey, this means that the Outlook is going to go onto the iPhone, or some other Microsoft technology is going to go onto the iPhone. Well, I could also say that they're probably just hiring some guy to make sure that everything is up to date when it comes to the current Microsoft apps out there in the App Store, because there are apps out there from Microsoft in the App Store, and they probably need somebody specific to kind of look after that kind of stuff. Next up is from 9to5Mac saying that OS X Mountain Lion has already been released to Apple Care representatives. Now, what is the value of knowing this? This means that next time you hear somebody saying, oh yeah, Apple Care representatives already have OS X Mountain Lion, you can say, okay, it's pretty darn close to the release of the actual Mountain Lion or the next operating system. And this is actually quite fascinating. They say, or this report says, that the staff, the Apple Care staff, already had access to it, but they didn't have it running in their machine. They actually did a screen sharing program to go into a Mountain Lion computer somewhere out there in the ether, right? Probably in Cupertino or in a data center in North Carolina. And they were like, oh yeah, here we go. Here's screen sharing software to it. Wow, okay, that's a lot of security when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I also wonder if these tech supports have a personal account or they have like an Apple account. So, you know, could they like buy Angry Birds on the Mac App Store? I don't know. That's weird. That's a weird tangent that I'm not going to get into. And now we're on to this section. Patents and pie in the sky and pigs flying and just pretty much the crazy ass stuff, like just the weird, you know, like way out there stuff. And this comes from, the first one comes from Business Insider, and I'm gonna have a drink of water before I start saying these things, because that is how crazy it is. That's exactly how crazy it is. 802.11ad, that's the router specification or Wi-Fi specification, could be up to 7 gigabits per second worth. It could transfer up to 7 gigabits per second worth of stuff. That is a lot. Like, who needs Thunderbolt if you can do 7 gigabits per second? Now, of course, it's probably not going to be exactly 7 gigabits, depending on how much wall you have in between people, or maybe like if there's some big guy standing on top of your router. I don't know. They say that this is 100% of the current speeds that we have right now with Wi-Fi, and it will operate at a 60 gigahertz range. Right now, I think my Wi-Fi is running at 5 gigahertz range, and there's another one running at somewhere below 5 gigahertz. So yeah, so keep that in mind. 802.11ad, 7 gigabits per second. That is insane. Next up, from imore.com. Now, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys, I like this imore website. I really do. They're pretty cool website. I suggest, if you were going to follow any website out there, I suggest imore, because every time I read imore, I go, wow, these guys got it right. These guys got it going on. And also Call the Mac. Call the Mac is pretty good too. And Tuao. Tuao is less of an Apple rumor site, but more of an actual Apple news site. So I've been reading less and less of their stuff. But those three are pretty much, I think, my favorite. Anyway, you know what's my least favorite? Okay, these are my least favorite. Apple Insider and Patently Apple. First of all, Apple Insider, because it looks like they just wanted to make the longest articles that you can possibly write. Like, you can sum up this, you know, this 8-paragraph article in 2 paragraphs. Really, you could. You really could. I don't know why these guys are totally. It's like they have a word count. It's like they have a word count target, right, instead of an article target. And why don't I like, Patently Apple? Well, I'm probably going to tell you guys a little bit about that later. So anyway, imore.com says, will the iPod Touch and the iPad mini exist at the same time, right? Or do they just get rid of the iPod Touch? So these are the 3 options that they said Apple might do in the release of the iPad mini. They can say that the iPad mini will replace the iPod Touch. Like, completely, the iPod Touch is gone, because it's like, how much is it? Like $200 right now. They can probably lower that to $150. Probably won't go below $150, because it is expensive to make small stuff. And the iPad mini, you know, less expensive to make that, because you got more room to fit stuff in there. And also, another thing they can do is keep the 2010 iPod Touch and just leave it at that. And keep it like the legacy iPods right now, right? We still have the iPods. I think we still have the iPods right there, the legacy iPods. And so they say keep the 2010 and just let it die, you know, a few years from now. Or update the iPod Touch. And, you know, Mr. Kuo did say that he's going to update the iPod Touch, or Apple will update the iPod Touch. So yeah, those are the 3 options. I think that Apple will update the iPod Touch, and they'll just have that running with the iPad mini. I mean, the iPod Touch pretty much uses the same technology as the iPhone, so it doesn't really cost them that much when it comes to R&D or like new product manufacturing. It's just going to cost them, you know, some money when it comes to marketing and the shell for it. Like that's it, pretty much. So it doesn't make sense for me, you know, to think that they're going to drop the iPod Touch just because a cheaper iPad mini is going to be out there. Next, from Patently Apple, and this is partially why I don't like Patently Apple. There is a patent on various ways of interacting with. Hey, Mike, could you not play music right now? Thanks. So Patently Apple is saying that there's all these interactions that you can do through touch, and they use all of these complicated wordings. Now, here's an example. This is the patent right here. I'm going to read it word for word. The patent is based primarily on electro-optical determination of temporary surface distortion caused by the physical input signal or force creating the distortion. Now, you tell me what that is. Like, I read that, I was like, what the heck does this mean? Like, what is this for? You know, like, it's insulting. You know, you think your audience will stick around and sit there and be like, oh, I don't know, what is that? It's pretty much touch technology. Like, seriously, somebody out there make a website that just summarizes patently Apple stuff. Now, I understand they are lawyers and they use this lawyer speak, and maybe to be as clear as possible, they have to use up as many words as they can to make sure that their message is as clear as possible. So this is what this patent does, or the possible implications of this patent. Whenever you touch something, it can sense the direction and magnitude. So right now, it probably just senses like just the touch, and there are apps out there that does sense the direction and magnitude right now through software, but you know, this patent kind of covers direction and magnitude stuff. Next is a larger area, so you're going to have a larger touchscreen. This is actually pretty good for, let's just say, an iPad 27-inch, a 27-inch iPad, something like that. And they're also going to have higher resolution because, you know, the larger your screen, the less resolution of touch there is. So they're gonna find a way to do higher resolution stuff, higher resolution touch, sensitivity, and tactile feedback through physical deformation. So that means, like, I don't know, this is gonna be weird, but like if you physically touch the screen, it's gonna, like, you know, kind of like cave in or maybe like bubble out, or a physical deformation. Another one is pressure sensitivity. So if you push really hard, the software is gonna say, okay, this guy's pushing really hard, you know, let's act accordingly. And you can also use signatures instead of points. I don't get this one. They say signatures instead of points. So instead of, like, you know, a single point right there, like, I don't know, like you move your finger. I don't know about signatures and points. Intelligent orientation. So you can type without looking. This is actually pretty cool. So let's just say you have a dashboard right in front of you. You're driving and there's a dashboard out there, and I don't know, you want to start typing. I don't know why. Actually, that's a terrible idea. But this example, let's just say you wanted to start typing. So you just put your hand down, and all you do is you start typing to where you think the keys are, and the keyboard will shift to the orientation that your hand is in. So you don't have to, you know, look down there. It kind of just, I don't know how it does this, but it just knows that you want to type, or knows that you want to hit the next song or something like that. And there will be thermal, air, and vacuum kind of, you know, involved in this patent. So maybe like a part of the screen will warm up, or it's gonna create a vacuum, or maybe like a puff of air, something like that. And they talked about Wii and Kinect-like gaming capabilities as well, but I was like, okay, I'm done with this. These guys' wording is, yeah. Next, patently Apple, once again, they have really cool articles, they have cool news, but it's just such a, oh man, it's such a crappy read. I mean, like, I don't enjoy reading this stuff. But they say that there's a patent out there of a layered dock system with individual areas outside the screen that you can use to trigger the layered dock system. So let's just say you have a dock specifically meant for working, right? Like your blogging stuff, and then you have a dock meant for your picture stuff, and then you have a dock meant for all these other things. Well, you can have multiple docks, and if you put your mouse outside the screen, like let's just say below the bottom of the screen, it'll activate a certain dock. It'll make you scroll through a dock, or there could be like a speed bump somewhere in the screen, like a digital. You know, you can't really see it speed bump, but when you when you put your mouse over that speed bump, the mouse kind of like animates, so it looks like it's going through a speed bump. So that's another way for them to kind of activate this dock. Personally, I don't even use my dock. If you guys are looking at my computer right now, you cannot see any docks out here. Actually, it's over here. But I do not use my dock because you have, you know, Alfred. I just use the Alfred application. Everything is done through keyboard. So to me, docks are pretty useless. Next up, second to last thing, patently Apple, once again, another cool one. Final Cut Pro 10 patent And this is what's actually really cool, because I do use Final Cut Pro 10, and they say that they're going to add, or this patent adds, collaborative features. What that means is multiple people can edit from the exact same like project at the same time. That's insane. So that means like, hey, I'm going to work a little bit ahead of you, right? So I'm going to do the cuts, and then you do the transitions, and then somebody else does the sound effects, and somebody else tries to add music, and that is actually pretty insane. Or you can say, I'll cut this up and then we'll see what we have, when you're done. So like have this done in an hour. And by that time, everything is back again to the main project, and then like people can see it. Now, there's going to be one guy that controls pretty much everything. And this one guy is going to say, okay, you can do this. Like you're allowed to delete, like you have full control of the project. I'll let you allow that. I'll allow you to do that. But then there's another guy that says you can only comment. You can only look and maybe add comments. So this is probably going to be your manager or somebody that doesn't really know how to use the software, but they still want to see how you're doing, right? And comment on it. So that is actually pretty darn cool. Multiple editing at the same time. They also talked about a possibility of a cloud capability out there, but I'm going to move on over to the last article. And this is actually a pretty easy article. It talks about what the future iPhone will look like. And I wrote down future twice, not because I have some mental problems. No, that's because future iPhone, that means this is going to be like the iPhone 6 or the 2015 iPhone, or what it could possibly look like. And this guy has slick renderings. It looks nothing like the iPhone 5 except for the thinness and the 4-inch screen. Actually, I don't know how big this screen is, but this iPhone just looks slick. Man, it's nice. Okay, that's it. That's it for the podcast, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Actually, before I exit, I don't know if I should kill the video version, because right now I'm going to stop editing, or I'm going to stop the video, and then I'm going to edit it. Or actually, I'm not going to edit it. I'm going to export it and then upload it, and that takes like 2 hours to do all that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep the video or not. If I am going to keep it, I'm probably not going to upload at the same day as I would the podcast, because I care more about the audio version of this podcast. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this video. And I also release, I don't know if you guys know this. Actually, it's plug time, I guess. I don't know if you guys know this, but in YouTube, I release a 1-minute video of everything that I talked about in this podcast, or at least just the important stuff. So if you guys want to listen to that instead, go ahead and go to YouTube and look at my 1-minute summation of the rumors for the week. Also, some of you guys might be wondering, why aren't there rumors on Friday stuff, right? Because I don't know, something probably happened on Friday, and that's because I'm recording this on Thursday at 5 p.m. And anything that happens after that, I have no idea what's happening. I'm still going to release this at some point in time on Friday, but I'm not going to talk about Friday rumors. So that's why I didn't mention it today, because I am going to be out camping for 4 days. Also, you guys can follow me on Twitter. Now, I'm not gonna say, hey, everybody follow me, because I'm that kind of guy that says that likes seeing that big follow button. No. Why would you listen to, why would you look at my Twitter account? That's because that is where I get all my information. So whenever I see some news, because I do all my reading on the bus, whenever I see some news, I tweet it. And then at the end of the week, I go through all my tweets and I put them all into this spreadsheet, or this database software, and then I've talked about that stuff. I organize a database and I kind of put comments on it and stuff. But that's how it works. So if you want kind of like an up-to-date, it's actually not up-to-date because I'm usually like 2 days behind the actual news. But if you want a somewhat up-to-date information on what's happening with the Apple news, go to my Twitter account. And you know what? I think it's time for this. An outro music. All right, I'm starting to like sweat because I had the windows closed and to get better audio, but apparently the phone rang and my brother came in and he flushed the toilet and he started playing music, which I'm a little bit mad at him about. I don't know why you play music. Well, anyway, that's it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.